Okay, in previous lessons, we talked about sketching and what it was, like it's light lines, it's coming from your shoulders, it's basic shapes, drawing through the shapes and things. But today I want to talk why sketch? And what's the purpose of it? If you're not really drawing, it's just sort of a map of where you're going to draw. Why don't you just start drawing? Really good question. The answer is this thing called proportions. You know, the size of things. All right. So when you talk about proportions, it's the relationship on a larger scale. Okay. So my hand is about the same size as my face. If you go out and see a billboard that the head is, 5 foot tall, that means the hand, if that person held up their hand would be 5 foot tall. If it's a small photograph or a small drawing, if I'm drawing a little guy and his head's only this, big, then his hand's only going to be that big. And that's called proportion. And if you get things in proportion, that's a huge part of getting your drawings to look good. Okay? And it's also a really good function. I don't talk a lot about why we do art in school, but to break things into simple, basic shapes and then make the complexity later is a good skill in lots of professions, not just artists. Okay, and I'll say this if many times in my classroom, I'm not training every kid that comes to Park Street to become an artist because we had that would be too many artists in the world if we did. We need doctors and lawyers and all kinds of jobs out there. And in those jobs, you're going to be asked to break things down into basic elements and then build up the complexity later. And that's why I really like these drawing exercises. So what is proportion? So let me look at my table here. I have something that today we're going to draw. In fact, right now while I adjust this will be a great time to go to your kitchen and get a spoon, okay? Because today is going to be about spoons. So let's look at this spoon and think about its proportions, all right? So we have, if I do this and this and this, how many heads are there to the entire spoon? And I bet some of you have the answer right now, but if I do this and I measure here like this, there are 3 scoops. This spoon is 3 scoops wide, all right? So in other words, this scoop is 1/3 of that spoon. That's not true of all spoons. Some of you might have grabbed this spoon. What do you think the proportions of this? And sorry, boys and girls, I need to switch this around because it just, there we go. It's opposite of what I'm seeing. All right, so when I look at this spoon, what is it? It is, if you guessed 1/4, I can measure that, and I can do 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can fit 4 of these scoops to this spoon. All right? Now, look at this spoon. What is the proportions of this spoon? You think about that for a moment. Maybe answer the question. The answer is 3 to 1. 1, measure that. 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 scoops of that. That's the same as this spoon, but it's much smaller than this spoon. It has the same proportions. And I can prove that by doing a little trick of photography here. If I raise this up to about here and make it the same size, it fits almost perfectly. I can't do that with this. If I raise this one up to the same size as that, you can tell it is way off, much bigger scoop per handle than that one right there. And the same with this one. If I make it the same size, look at how much bigger it is than that one right there. But their sizes change. This is by the tallest spoon, but it's thin and has a smaller top to it. Okay. What we're gonna, what I want you to do next is there's a video from a great artist, Control Art, and he does a great thing with spoons. And what he's going to do is to show you what's called gesture drawing. In other words, taking very quickly and kind of sketching this out. But the trick here is getting the proportions correct, okay? So is this 1 to 3 like that one right there? Or if I get this spoon right here, you know, how is that 1 to 4? And this has a little square on the end, so I might, you know, maybe do something like that to make it look like that square. There's a little loop to this when I'm looking at it like that. You know, how do I get that loop in there? But that all happens very quickly. The sketching is what's my ability to you know, get that done as I can. So go ahead and once you have your spoon, watch the control paint thing on sketching spoons or doing gesture drawings of spoons, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you today's assignment.